Hey friends, my name is James. I'm a photographer and content creator for an Irish pub out in California. And in today's video, I want to try something a little different. I want to show you guys what I carry inside my everyday backpack for a typical day on the job. Now, recently I learned about this awesome camera bag company called Brevité, and they were kind enough to send me this bag in exchange for a review if I loved it. So here we are. Let's take a closer look at some of my favorite features on this bag, and of course, the contents inside. Let's get it. So at first glance, this camera bag actually looks like a stylish, sleek, even a minimalistic looking backpack. It doesn't scream camera bag, and I love that for obvious reasons, because you don't want to wear a camera bag and basically signal to everybody that you're carrying around thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment. It's a flex, but it's not good. So I think that's what Brevité were going for with this design. It is very sleek, and I love that about it. So let's take a look at the side pocket first. Here in the side pocket, I have my small rig tripod. And this is secured in by this little clip here. This is adjustable depending on the size of the tripod or stand or water bottle or whatever you want to put in this side pocket. I have this small rig tripod that I actually use for my off-camera flash because it allows me to put it in places that you can't really put a lighting stand. And let's say you wanted to put a water bottle in this side pocket, and even if it's a little bit bigger, it has this stretchy material that allows you to put in bigger objects with a little bit of give. And let's say you had a water bottle in here and you still wanted to carry a tripod or a stand, you absolutely can, because on the bottom, it has these straps that allow you to strap in something here too. I like to put my poster roll along here on the bottom and fasten it in. Pretty cool. Next up, we have the laptop sleeve. And if you can see this here, it has this water resistant zip around here. And that's where I keep my 16-inch MacBook Air for editing. This is honestly probably the most important piece of equipment in my backpack because I spend so much time editing. Next up on the side, we have this secret compartment. Now this is where you could keep your passport if you're traveling. I like to keep my wallet or my keys in here. And because it's kind of like on the back side of this, you don't have to worry about it being exposed. No one's going to try to reach in around your back and, yeah. I like the straps. I think they could be a little bit thicker and more padded. And also, Brevité, if you're listening, if you could put a chest mount across here, that would be chef's kiss. So on the back here, it has this luggage pass-through. So if you're traveling in an airport and you got a suitcase, you can put the suitcase handle through here and leave your bag on top. That's super handy. And also on the back, it has this kind of divot right down the center. And this acts as kind of like an airflow. That's really good so you don't get overheated and sweaty. Now moving to the front of the bag, it has this really interesting front pouch. Just let me show you what's in here first, and then I'll show you why I think it's interesting. Inside this front pouch, I have an SD card holder full of used SDs just in case I want to access some old content that I can repurpose into new content. Always repurpose old content. Next up, I have my trusty GoPro. Always comes in clutch when I need an extra angle just for more content. Remember, everything is content. Then I have sticky putty. Now my wife makes fun of me for how much I love sticky putty. This stuff comes in clutch. I use it for hanging posters. I can also put some on the back of the GoPro and be able to like stick this to a wall or wherever. I could honestly make a whole video about this stuff. I love it so much. Next, I have a hard drive, and usually I would have a dongle in here as well, but I'm actually using it to shoot this video. Then I have this small LED light. This is from WeLight. And this is a really useful little light to have in your backpack because I've used this to light the backdrop when I'm doing shots at the pub. You can set it to pretty much whatever color you want. I like this kind of moody purple color. Very inexpensive, very bright. And yeah, it's just useful to have in your backpack. Why not? It's so small. That is the WeLight. Next up, I have this multi-tool pocket knife. This is a new addition to my backpack setup, and I am obsessed with this thing. Not only is it a very sharp knife, it also has a saw on there, but it also has these drill bits along the side, if you can see this. So it can pretty much turn into a screwdriver just like that. It has a bunch of other useful tools built into it. And the best thing is, this thing I got on Amazon for like $10. An absolute must-have in your backpack. It is so useful. And finally, in this pouch, I just have a couple of loose Canon batteries because you never know when you need them. Okay, so let's take a closer look inside here now that everything's emptied out. In this pouch, you actually have 4 organized separate compartments. That is really useful for me because I don't like things being cluttered and just thrown in on top of each other. So to be able to compartmentalize all those knickknacks is really, really useful to me. And finally, on this front pouch, it has these anti-theft zippers. You basically thread these together and it prevents anybody from easily accessing that pouch. You'd have to spend at least a minute trying to untangle them. I think that's a really clever device. Okay, so now let's have a look at the top compartment here. So in here I have a speed light. Usually I have two, but this week I'm just rocking with one. And as I mentioned earlier, I put this speed light on top of the small rig tripod that I showed you. This speed light is the Godox V862, a very good and inexpensive speed light. And then to go with the speed light, I have this transmitter, which I attach to the top of my camera, which we'll get to in just a second. And that allows me to place the speed light wherever I need it to create some interesting light scenarios. That is also Godox. Next up, I have my Synco wireless lavalier mics. I did a whole separate video on these. If you'd like to check it out, I will link it in the description box below, but it's essentially a receiver and two transmitters, so you can mic up two people at once if you want to. I like to carry this with me just in case I have that option for better audio. I love good audio, so it's good to have this. And I know this is going to annoy some viewers, but one of my favorite things to carry in the top of my backpack is nothing. I like space. There is nothing worse than packing your bag full and then realizing when you're out in the field, you need space to put something that you just picked up, but you have nowhere to put it and now you have to carry it around. That is so annoying. So pro tip, always leave a little bit of room in your backpack just in case. One more thing, in this top compartment, there is another secret compartment. Right on the inside here, there's another compartment, and I like to keep a notebook in there. I'm always writing down ideas and notes that I don't want to forget. Comes in super handy. Of course, some Altoids. And finally, wireless headphones for when I'm on my own or traveling. I like to be able to listen to some podcasts or some good music to help me edit. Those come in clutch. Okay, so that's the top compartment. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to have a look at the main star of the show, the compartment where we keep our camera equipment. So in this main section here, I have obviously my camera. This is an R6. I usually shoot with the R5, which I'm filming this video on right now, but I have this backup camera, the R6, a fantastic backup camera, may I add. Then I have my favorite lens in here. This is the Canon RF 100mm macro lens. I made a separate video on this, I think last year sometime, and this very rarely leaves my camera, especially for product photography. I'm always going to this 100mm lens, a fantastic lens. Then I have a 35mm lens, another favorite focal length of mine, another random Canon battery, you can never have too many. And finally, a small JBL speaker. Here's another pro tip. If you're doing a portrait session with a client and you want them to relax a little bit and loosen up, ask them what their favorite music is and put it on a portable speaker like this. I guarantee you they will relax and you'll both have a more enjoyable photo session. So JBL portable speaker, the lettering is starting to kind of come off because I've had this for a while. Now this is my favorite part of this whole bag. It has these adjustable dividers. So depending on what camera equipment you have and what you want to fit in here, you can actually make the compartments yourself, which makes it very, very easy to plan out what you want and where you want it to go. So you could have it completely empty like this if you wanted. You can collapse this inner lining here, which means that you have this whole section as just like a normal functioning backpack. But why would you want to do that if you bought a camera bag, right? So depending on how you want to set up this section for your lenses and stuff, you can actually set it up in a way where your camera is right here on the edge. So when this is all closed up, you actually have this side pocket here that allows you to quickly reach your camera in a hurry. If you're on the road and you don't want to miss a shot, having that access to the camera so fast is a really, really smart idea. So my final thoughts on the Jumper by Brevité. This is a really great everyday backpack for content creators and photographers alike. I especially like the material this bag is made out of. It feels really soft and very unique. It's kind of hard to convey through video, but this feels a lot more different than I was expecting for some reason. I also love the customizational elements of this, especially in the main compartment where you're going to keep your camera and lens. I know my gear is safe and it's protected from those cushiony dividers. If I had any criticism at all, it's, as I mentioned earlier, some kind of chest mount or strap here, and maybe some beefier straps, because this bag can get pretty heavy with the equipment that I carry around in it. If you would like to learn more about the Jumper by Brevité, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or click the link in the description box below. It'll take you to the Brevité website. Thank you once again, Brevité, for sending me this bag, and thank you for watching. Make sure you leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.